This book was a little confusing to me at first. GameMasters here, and confusing wasn't exactly a bad thing. I just didn't understand how to use the Book of Many Things. I did my traditional thumb-through video, and while we saw some neat stuff, I had not had a chance to digest it. I was seeing it pretty much exactly as you guys were, so there was quite a bit that I missed. You see, Wizards of the Coast has presented the material in here in a very unique way. In past books, the material has been given in a clear Chapter 1 to Chapter 2 to Chapter 3 layout. It was very linear. In the Book of Many Things, you are going to jump around quite a bit, and that's exactly how it was designed. Putting it another way, when you draw a card from the deck of many things, it's going to be random, right? So too, you can start at a random chapter in here, and it won't matter if you read all the chapters that preceded it. You can read it from start to finish, but you certainly don't have to. That said, I'm going to take today's video to do a rundown of what each chapter does provide, which should give a clearer picture as to how to use this book and the cards that come with it. And I feel that this is very important. I'm not a fan at all of buying blind, and back in this game's infancy, we could walk into almost any given game store and look through their copy to see if it was worth it or not, if the insides were worth purchasing. Now all we get is a picture of the cover and a 3 or 4 point bulletin description. To me, that's a blind purchase. So I want to share with you all, the viewer, what you can expect to see inside of this so that you can decide if it's worth it for you and your table. That said, let's take a look. Chapters 1 through 5 are primarily for the Dungeon Master. Chapter 1 is based on the Fool card and includes a history of the deck of many things, how you can use the deck to randomly generate adventures, how to customize it for different styles of play, and it deals on how one might be able to even craft up their own card. Chapter 2 is based on the Key card and explains how to use the deck in a campaign without destroying your world or becoming witness to a total party annihilation. Chapter 3 is based on the Balance card and goes into detail as to how you can use the deck as a randomizer, how to use it in place of dice if you want. But it also details how to use the deck or even Magic the Gathering cards to generate NPCs, personality traits, encounters, even adventures. Chapter 4 is based on the Puzzle card and is all about traps, how to use them, how to make them, and how to incorporate them into your campaign. Chapter 5 is based on the Gem card and lists out 22 new magic items and how each one was inspired by a different card from the original set of 22 cards from the deck of many things. Chapters 6 through 9 are primarily for characters. Chapter 6 is based on the Rogue card and gives advice to the player on new magic items that are suited for bards, rangers, rogues, and other character types that will prioritize their skills over other aspects. There is also a Rogues gallery that includes lists of creature stat blocks that can be used as adversaries or NPCs to interact with should someone draw the Rogue card. Chapter 7 is based on the Sage card and focuses on sorcerers, warlocks, wizards, and other characters that will wield arcane magics. There is the Cartomancer feat, new spells, and a slight overview of the deck of many more things, the additional 44 cards that spellcasters have created over the years, and briefly explains what those cards can do for or to the individual that drew it. Chapter 8 is based on the Fates card and shows 2 new backgrounds for characters, with those backgrounds being tied to the deck of many things and how it has possibly affected the character. It also includes tips on creating characters that are also otherwise connected to the deck, but focuses on clerics, druids, paladins, and those that are connected to the divine. And it also provides new magic items inspired by the Fates card. Chapter 9 is based on the Knight card and describes a new creature that will answer the call to possibly help the individual that drew that Knight card. It also includes advice on creating characters that are tethered to the deck should they be a barbarian, fighter, monk, or other combat specialist. New magic items specified to them or specific to them are also presented. There is an unwritten chapter that doesn't appear in this book, but does appear here, that lists out my awesome Many Things supporters, and I cannot thank them enough for their contributions to this channel. They are made up of my Patreon and YouTube members, and if you'd like to check out how to contribute, I'll leave a link down in the description. Chapters 10 through 13 are inspired by astrological phenomena. Chapter 10 is based on the Sun card and describes the Knights of the Solar Bastion, provides their stat blocks and abilities, and explains that these knights watch the deck and protect innocents from the dangers that it can unleash. Chapter 11 is based on the Moon card and provides stat blocks and abilities on a thieves guild called the Moonstalkers. They have a hidden lair and also harbor a dark secret. Spoiler, the members might all be werefolk. Chapter 12 is based on the Comet card, which was based on the all-consuming star that moves through the multiverse, spawning chaos in its wake. But also, too, is provided various stat blocks for an apocalyptic cult bent on ending the multiverse itself. There are also instructions should one want to join that cult. But also, too, are adventure hooks if you want to kickstart off some pretty wild adventures. Chapter 13 is based on the star card and details out 12 constellations known as the Sky of Many Things that has strong magical influence on the world as any given constellation rises and falls on that planet. These constellations are tethered to the 12 of the cards found in the Deck of Many Things, so this chapter also delves into specifics of those 12 cards. Chapters 14 through 18 cover adventure locations as well as some maps. Chapter 14 is based on the Jester card and depicts a magical marketplace that is carried through the sky by a massive moonstone dragon. But within this market is a fortune teller that will cite a character's fortune based on his deck of many things, or the players can draw from it for a price. Chapter 15 is based on the Throne card. In the context of the Deck of Many Things, when the Throne card is drawn, it will grant unto the character a small keep that they will become the owner of. This chapter describes that keep, but note too that the keep is not empty. Chapter 16 is based on the Ruin card, and the location described is called Moar Abbey, which is in ruins. It's made up of ancient towers, underground dungeons, and a powerful dragon at its heart. Chapter 17 is based on the Donjon card, and this is really cool. If you're a DM and want to see the players tortured, that is. In essence, this location, the Donjon, is an extra-dimensional sphere, a prison, and it looks a bit like the Death Star. But characters are imprisoned here should they pull the Donjon card, and this chapter describes that prison in full detail. Chapter 18 is based on the Void card, and when one pulls the Void card, it can separate one's soul from one's body. This chapter describes where that soul goes, the monsters that reside there, and provides a slim, ever so slight chance for one's soul to escape and return to its body. Chapters 19 to 22 covers new monsters and the two individuals that created the Deck of Many Things. Chapter 19 is based on the Skull card, which when drawn can summon the Avatar of Death. Should one be slain by that avatar, they are cursed to remain undead until the Deck of Many Things is destroyed. Chapter 20 is based on the Flames card and reveals 3 new fiends, a demon, a devil, and a Yugoloth to throw at the players, how to use them in your game, and it includes a small map of sorts and a couple of cursed magic items. Chapter 21 is based on the Talons card and includes an index as to which chapter different monsters appear in, but also lists out 8 new monsters that were either inspired by the Deck of Many Things or were just flat out created by it. Chapter 22 is based on the Uriel card and details the creator of the Deck of Many Things, a human warrior named Asteria, and her sister-in-arms, the Medusa Uriel. This chapter chronicles their story. I've got more videos in the works that will cover some of the very specific elements found within this Book of Many Things, as well as topics covering the Deck of Many Things, but I really wanted to cover some basics, as I've been seeing quite a few comments from folks simply trying to grasp exactly what this book is all about. And I gotta admit, this might very well be my favorite Dungeons & Dragons book release of the year. If there is something specific that you'd like to know about, either with the book itself or the deck, feel free to drop a comment below and ask. Oh, and keep an eye out on this playlist. That's where I'll be cataloging all of my book and Deck of Many Things videos. Until next our paths cross, may you be granted a small keep that's devoid of ghosts, phase spiders, shadow demons, behears.